First, I went ahead and scrubbed down the sink with the dishwashing soap and a little Brillo pad, and then I sprayed a Lysol spray and let it set for 5 whole minutes as directed on the bottle in order to properly disinfect. Key thing is letting it set for those 5 minutes and not touching it. Then I'm gonna go back and wipe everything down, everything from the sink to the drain, to the countertop, the sink handle, the nozzle, everything. Next, I'm going to fill up my cup with warm water. You don't want it too hot, but you also don't want it too cold. You want it to be just a good enough temperature where it'll loosen up the debris and makeup that is on your brushes. Then grab your tray to put your brushes in, your silicone brush cleaning glove, and your brush shampoo. Take my brushes and dip it into my cup of warm water. The reason why I don't just let the warm water run under the sink is because I try to be a little bit more eco-friendly where I can. Our industry ends up with a lot of waste with all of the disposables that we use all the time anyway. So this is just my way of giving back to Mother Nature and helping to save the earth a little bit where I can. So the brush shampoo that I'm using is the London Brush Company Vegan Brush Shampoo. I love this one because it leaves my brushes feeling nice and soft with a really light scent. I'm really sensitive to fragrances, and so are other people in my chair, so I don't want anything too heavy. It also doesn't leave any kind of oily or greasy residue. It contains young coconut milk, which does a really good job of breaking down heavy foundations, full coverage concealers, long-wear lipsticks, and any wax-based products. With the small brushes, I'm going to go ahead and pop them into my cup of warm water just to make it faster and easier access to clean them and lather them up. I'm going to do the same thing, lather them up, and set them aside in the tray. Then I always clean off the bar of soap at the end just to make sure it's nice and fresh for the next wash. Now with my little brush cleaning glove, I'm going to take each brush and lather it and scrub it into each of the little different textures that are there. Now each texture serves a different purpose in hitting all the different angles of the brushes, so it pulls everything out from the base of the ferrule. Just swirling it in all different directions, going left and right, up and down, in clockwise and counterclockwise motions, just to get everything out of these brushes. Then every so often I'm going to rinse off the residue and start again. So some brushes like this one has a lot of built up product in it, and I believe that's a concealer brush. So sometimes I will rinse and repeat the whole process again, just to make sure it's completely cleaned out. So pre-COVID, I used to just use brush cleaners like Cinema Secrets to quickly clean the brushes at the end of every day. But now, because of COVID, I have to be extra careful. So I will go through and wash them at the end of every day, which means that it takes me a little bit longer to get through. And I have to account for extra cleaning time. Sure that you are swirling your brush from various angles too, from the tip of the brush, the sides. That way it makes sure that it's working the product out of the base of the bristles from the ferrule and working its way out. Because sometimes, especially with foundations and concealers, I find that they really build up into the base and sometimes it's really hard to get them out. So don't be afraid to spend a little bit more time with those brushes. And now I'm just going to rinse everything off, all the suds. I'm also going to make sure that I thoroughly clean and scrub off whatever residue is left on my little brush cleaning glove, along with my tray, my cup, and also rinse off that top layer of my soap. The key thing is not letting your brushes stay soaked in water for too long, because over time that water is going to break down the glue and then your bristles will start to fall out, which is not good. And as I'm going through rinsing, I'm using warm water, not too hot because that will break down the glue inside the ferrule, but also not too cold because you still want the water to help dissolve whatever is left over on the brushes. After I rinse them, I very gently squeeze the bristles just a little bit to squeegee off any excess water, and then I place it onto my drying tray. And now I'm going to run each of my damp brushes through a paper towel, either swirling it or pressing it in and then reshaping it afterwards. This is going to help speed up any of the drying time by absorbing any of the excess moisture that's still left in the brushes. And now I'm going to use this nifty brush tree that I have that will help accelerate the drying process of my brushes. Now you can totally leave your brushes flat on this drying towel for it to completely dry, but I find that flipping it upside down utilizes gravity to help pull the water downwards and out of your brush, which aids in it drying a lot faster. Sometimes laying the brushes flat on a towel to dry ends up taking longer because then the towel gets wet and the whole thing just stays damp for a little bit too long, and I don't have that kind of time. If you do, then go for it. So once I get all of my brushes into my tree, it's going to take anywhere between 4 to 10 hours for it to completely dry, depending on the weather. So the temperature and humidity plays a huge part. But that's just about how you wash your brushes. Let me know how you like it, and let me know how you wash your brushes. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.